Hi, it's Hank. I'm back, and I just wanted to clarify. Uh, the last discussion we were having was about Wake Up Call, my project, and we were discussing, or I was discussing by myself. I was discussing in the beginning and Hidden Knowledge. That was the first two songs. I remember I made a reference to Shirley MacLaine's book, and it's the Camino, not I forgot what I said. It was something strange, chameleon or something, but I meant Camino. Really good reading material. And I also realized that I brought up chakras, and I said base chakra, which was red. I'll discuss that later because, of course, I find that really fascinating, the whole chakra system, and how it can help us spiritually evolve and raise our vibration. The next song that in that series Wake Up Call is Abduction. That particular song is about me when I first moved to Houston, Texas, and I remember waking up in the morning. I'll call it a dream because that's the only thing I can think of. Anything else really makes sense. Okay, but I woke up and I couldn't move. And the song is Abduction. It goes, I woke one morning, my body wouldn't move. I could only look up in the dark bedroom. A dark figure was floating right over my head, and it wasn't very big. But the fear I felt rushed through to my bones. I tried to get up, and I was froze. Basically, I woke up that morning, and I'm telling you, it was over my head, and it was dark, and it had dark eyes, and it moved really fast, and it sort of freaked me out. But I couldn't move. I was literally just like paralyzed there, laying there. And of course, later on, I found out that that's called sleep paralysis, and so you don't act out your dreams, so you don't hurt yourself while you're sleeping when you're in your astral body and traveling all over the universe and in all the different dimensions and all the bigger and greater use. I know it probably sounds crazy, but of course, I believe we're multi-dimensional personalities, and and I believe that the physical body that we have experiencing here in this life, when it's tired, it goes to sleep, and when it sleeps, that's when we become what we absolutely are as energy entities. Well, like I said, I'm calling it a dream because it was unlike any dream I've ever had, and it was actually sort of, well, quite terrifying, And they started here in Texas, but even when I had moved back to Ohio in the 90s, they really, really started kicking up. But I'm not exactly sure how much longer after I had entered into that pyramid afterwards that they started. And I'm not even saying that they are related to each other, but it was definitely after that. And maybe they are related, who knows? But in terms of the dreams, um, that particular morning, I was living on 12 and a half Street and 12 and a half Street in the Heights in Houston. And I remember it moving around really fast and then it went right through the wall. That's my second one. I mean, it went literally right through the wall. And the song goes, it ducked away right through the wall. I couldn't believe it happened at all. I inched my fingers to pinch my head. I would do this business. And once I can touch myself all over, but when I touch my face, it always made me wake up or snap out of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say I inched my fingers and I touched my face and jumped up. And I'm telling you, I searched the entire house. I mean, the closets, everything. And then nothing. And because to me it didn't seem like I was in a dream. It seemed like I was just paralyzed and it was something that was in there and it was over me and it was pretty crazy, frightening or what have you. And anyway, I remember later that day or that morning, that very morning, I took a shower and I had, it looked like, I'm telling you, it looked like a biopsy on my pelvis to the left hand side. It looked like a little scoop, like a flush had been taken out or whatever. And never thought about it again. It healed, it didn't bleed or anything like that. And I still have the mark. I won't show you, but it's there for sure. What that was, I have no idea. Oh, then over. period of time. I mean, come on, that was in 84, 85 when I lived in the Heights. That's after I moved here to Texas. And wow. So then what? In 90, when I moved to Ohio, it started happening again. So that's what? Ooh, 6 years later. And then all of a sudden I'm in Ohio and I'm doing incredible things, living there, teaching at the university, open up a school. And then all of a sudden I'm having all these dreams again, where I'm on this table and I'm on my back. At first, I thought when it was like they were coming to get me and taking me away. That's what the verse says. Um, Something's been coming to get me, taking me away. Why was this happening to me? I didn't have to say. Well, I would literally at first, I thought I was like walking out, and I thought they were huge bugs, and they were on the ceiling. And I just remember being like, "Oh shit," you know what I'm saying? And I remember trying to duck my head like this, and then I realized that I wasn't actually walking and looking up. I was laying on my back, and I was like back like this, and I could they're bending over me, looking at me, and I remember them taking me through. I lived in this brownstone. They took me through the hallway, out the through the kitchen, out the back door, off the back porch, and I mean, and straight off the side of the roof. And we didn't go down. I remember being able to look over and see the carport and the trees, and I remember going straight up. And I think I probably passed out because that freaked me out. And I would always wake back up in my bed, and it was to me, I was just having a series of dreams, and it got sort of crazy there. And the wild part about it is let's see, I had done a movie called Double Dragon with Alyssa Milano and Scott Wolf. I was just an extra, and it happened in Cleveland, and that was really cool. So that was going on. I had just opened up my dance school, and that was funded by this incredible person, build a builder in the city, and I mean, amazing things were happening to me. I was so happy. I was making so much money. I was just thriving, doing what I love to do, teaching dance out of school, choreographing, doing these things. And but I kept having these dreams, and the dreams were, of course, they were getting intense, and they happened, were happening. It was happening all the time. I was losing time. All kind of crazy things were happening. So I went to a psychiatrist. Now the reason in the song it says I went to John E. Mack to see what you say. John E. Mack is a Howard professor who was very famous and for doing regressions and working with people who have been abducted. And so, of course, a book that I read, and so I put that in there. I went to Johnny Mack, or basically, I went to a psychiatrist to see what they would say if they believed me or locked me away. And I had it all written down, and I have the transcript from the actual session. And now, what did it mean? I mean, there was one time I was in Florida, and I was doing this show, which was Brigadoon, and this we were Brigadoon was going on to Burt Reynolds Theater, and I remember one night after the show, it was amazing, and we got back to our hotel, or actually a little apartment complex that they were paying for us because we were there on tour, and we were there for what 3 months or whatever. It was crazy, it was wonderful, but I remember my roommate had to go home for an illness, which he actually lives in Florida in Tampa or something, and we were in Jupiter, Florida. That's where we were staying. And I remember I was in the room by myself, and I woke up in the middle of one of these dreams or episodes or whatever you want to call it. But this time, I wasn't on my back, I was on my stomach. And I remember them being over me and around me, and I couldn't move. And I'm telling you, it felt like they had somehow cut my back wide open, and they were doing something to me, and I was in pain. And I remember screaming and crying and screaming and crying, and nothing would come out. But it was the most horrifying nightmare I had ever had in my entire life, and I was like so freaked out about it. And what happened was I woke up the next morning, and my pillowcase, my pillow was soaking wet, sopping wet, just wet like crazy. And I was like, whoa. And, I went to check my back and trying to fuck. There was nothing wrong with my back or whatever, but it sort of, the whole thing sort of freaked me out. That was the night that I wrote that song. Abduction. I woke one morning, my body wouldn't move. I could only look up in the dark bedroom. The dark figure was floating over my head. It wasn't very big. The fear I felt rushed through my bones. I tried to get up, but I was froze. I was trying to gain control. I felt someone was in my house and I didn't want them there. That's how that whole song came about. Now, how does that tie into Wake Up Call? Well, to me, like I said, I'm gonna call it a dream. I know I'm not crazy, but I'm just gonna chalk it up to a dream. I remember at one point I told myself I have no desire. If it's happening, there's nothing I can do, and I just don't remember it now. If it's still going on now, if I'm still having the dreams, I have no idea. But the power of my suggestion of telling myself I never want to remember it again. Thus far, I haven't. Now, of late, I'm hearing that, or I'm reading and listening to online and all these different places, that there are energy entities that are from different dimensions and different places in the galaxy that are here and that are helping us usher us into ascension. So, what was my purpose in them having that interaction with me during that time? And of course, my mind goes in all different type of directions. I'm thinking, oh, maybe they were preparing me to wake up right now and to remember and to help everyone that I possibly can by like doing exactly what I'm doing. Maybe I was programmed to do what I'm doing now. Then I have no idea, but it seemed appropriate because that's what some of the greatest thinkers on the planet right now are thinking, that we have had and have for a very long time had interaction with those entities that you would call extraterrestrial or extra dimensionals, and some have been benevolent, benevolent, malevolent, and benevolent. Oh, I'm sorry, the adjectives, but which means good and bad. They say that the bad have been held back and have been basically incapacitated to do what they had been planning to do, which was basically what their purpose was to do, is to give us, that polarity, that darkness, that evil, and we have chosen to be on the side of the light and love, and now it's time for ascension, and they're helping us. So maybe I'll just strike that experience for me to something else positive, because I'm still alive and I'm healthy and I feel good, and actually I feel great. Now the next song that I wrote and I had a desire to discuss was, it wasn't this song. This is a song that I actually just wrote, and it's really interesting because the first song, in the beginning, that song was inspired by Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, and whereas Hidden Knowledge was inspired by Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. Now that book I read years and years and years ago when I was 18 years old, Seth Speaks, and I always thought it was really a big-headed book, and I got it immediately. I totally understood it and it made sense to me. But I gave the book to so many people, and they're like, "Oh my God, Hank, what was that? I don't know what was that." I tried to read it. I couldn't get past the first. It was too incomprehensible for them. And I remember praying. I was like, "Mom," I said, "People really need to really know this stuff." Of course, there's all these other books and all this information out there, but I was thinking that there needed to be something that was a little easier, something that had no parables. Not that Seth Speaks had any parables. It was pure science and fact and truth that was being put out. Whereas, okay, another book was written, and it was called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. I mean, that book right there it said everything that Seth Speaks said, but it said it in a way to where everyone could clearly understand it. No parables, just clean, pure, good. I would suggest any and everyone read Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, especially if you have some type of hardcore religious affiliation in terms of how you were raised and that type of thing, because sometimes when you're listening to science and even with all the proof, because you have a spiritual or religious background, such as Christian, Protestant, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you have a desire to, or a propensity to sort of stick to that thought pattern and color everything else with that first. And, as soon as they say something that doesn't agree with what's in what you would call sacred text, it's called blasphemy and blah, 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 blah. And, it's all scripted. And anyway, I have no desire to insult anyone or to say anything bad about anyone's thoughts or their religions, but you know what I'm saying. Now, where I speak about in the direction that I'm going. So, this song is called "The Love in Me Aligns with the Love in You," and it's just a song about the big picture once again. We're all connected. There's no separation. So the song goes, "No matter what you do or what you say about me, we are all connected. The naked eye just cannot see. It's just like you just can't look and see through your eyes that we're connected. You're like, hey, you're way over there and I'm way over here. But as far as our energy into we're all connected. There's everything is energy. We're all connected. That's truth. And no matter what happens between you and me, I don't believe there's no accidents, no mistakes. All is meant to be. I don't believe there is one accident that has ever taken place. Everything that has happened has been meant to happen. And whether you believe it or not, you are responsible for everything that's happened to you, whether you've been raped or you've been beat or stolen from, or from the most heinous to the most wonderful things that have ever happened to you. Your soul had a desire to experience it, and it called those experiences to itself. And you have had an opportunity in every instance to choose who you are in relationship to what has happened to you. And you have two motivating factors to choose from: fear and love. I would pray that your love bubble is much bigger than your fear bubble. So, I just find that when you live like all the cartoons, and I love cartoons, that, they always won. They always won out. The good always beat the bad. Ever since we were a little kid, it was always powerful, and it is much more powerful. And what you would consider bad is not really bad. It's just relative. It needs to be the way it is so you can get out of it the full experience of it. And I'm speaking of three-dimensional life and physicality. You have to have that polarity, or this whole scheme and level of existence just wouldn't work. Well, it has worked and it is working, and right now we are getting ready to graduate because we have made it. We have chosen love, we have chosen light, and we are going to evolve and go to the very next level. And I'm excited about that. And like I said, once again, that's why I'm writing these songs, and that's why I'm discussing what the songs mean to me. It says, what you put out always comes right back to you. The things you've done to others have already been done to you. What goes around comes around, equal and opposite. The energy that you generate is the life you create. To me, there's no parables there. That should totally make sense. The energy that you are, what you put out, that like energy attracts to you. If you're putting out love all the time, I'm telling you, it's powerful and it's going to permeate everything in existence, and your spirit will be lifted, the depression will disappear, the balance will be maintained. You can really have an opportunity to see things in such a different light if you can make an attempt to keep yourself in a loving space, regardless to what is happening around you. And I say it's so important right now because I believe that we're all evolving and we're getting ready to shift into a higher vibration. And if we raise our vibration with this information or what I'm trying to share with you, or so many wanderers and light workers are making an attempt to share with you, just try it. Just try it. Find out what your chakras are. Find out where they are on your body, and just breathe them into yourself, or imagine yourself cleaning them. Little stuff. Just take little bits of time to try and really understand who and what you are and how you relate to what's going on around you. There's so much information out there, and I think it's very vital right now that as many people, because this is what happens when one person raises their vibration, every person that they come into contact with, their vibration raises. You know what I mean? And so The more people that know, the more people that are attempting to know, the more people that have a desire to know. I'm telling you, right now with the energy in this universe going so fast and having such a high level of pure, loving energy entwined in it, it makes the communication highway, the vibrational highway, so open and so clear and so receivable and so deliverable. Okay. Um, the next part of the song goes, I desire you to understand my message so clear. The time to wake up is absolutely here. Things are quickly changing on a global scale. Things are changing all over the world. Everything really, really fast. It is changing, and it's changing for the better. And the quicker we desire for things to get better quicker, if we get on board with understanding that we're connected to all of it, and our little input makes a huge, huge difference. Well, this is something crazy I'm going to tell you that I do, and this might make you go, oh, God, this boy is really nuts. But I have for years now imagined that I was a bomb, thermonuclear bomb. But not really the power of a thermonuclear bomb, but what I would be able to do is I would have, is the bomb that I am is made of nothing but pure love. And I remember I would just I would just pull it in and like on Dragon Ball Z and just imagine I'm pulling in all the love from everything around me, and I'm getting ready to, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, and I will blow up. And I could imagine myself blowing up this, and I can visually see myself just like, you see the bombs, the atom bombs or what have you, and they're blowing up in that force field, but that force field is nothing but love. And I imagine it just shooting out away from me almost at the speed of light and encompassing the whole planet. Bam! And then it's coming right back to me. I'm doing it for a really long time, and I find myself always being able to get the perfect parking spot, always being able to get the job or position, always wonderful things that come my way in order for me to be happy and to fulfill myself and to, there's so many amazing, wonderful things that are happening to me. It's like one miracle after another miracle after another miracle. As soon as I decided that I was going to choose love, I chose what was in the best interest of me as well as everyone else around me, and my intent was purposeful. I knew my intention was to do what was best for me and everyone else around me, and that would make my life and things in my life so much easier. People get angry at me or people say things, I'm no longer reactionary. I'm just, okay. And I've been so tested by that, and of late too. And I can say I'm really proud of myself because I've had a few people come at me in ways that once upon a time where I would be like, well, and you know what I mean? It would be on. Oh my God, I'm no longer that person anymore. And I don't think that person was so bad, that person who that person was. But now I've chosen different things, and I've chose to live my life a totally different way. And I still have major fun, and I still do all kind of things that would be considered, uh, against certain laws, you know what I mean? Depending on what state you're in. So anyway, um, the last verse on the song, you know, I desire you to understand my message is clear. Time to wake up is absolutely here. Things are quickly changing on the global scale in the New World Order. I'm not talking about the New World Order where, you know, we're going to be put in bunkers and so many people are going to be living free and high on the hog, and the rest of us are going to be out here on the top of this earth to defend ourselves, because I don't foresee that happening. I foresee something so much more wonderful. Like I said, you don't have to believe me, but I do know for a fact that if as many people as possible do what I'm asking, the love in me aligns with the love in you. That's how my song goes. No matter what you do or what you say about me, we are all connected. The naked eye just cannot see everything that happens between you and me. No accidents, no mistakes. All is meant to be. So the love in me aligns with the love in you. The love in me aligns with the love in you. That's what I'm saying. The love in me aligns with the love in you. And if you can take the love in you and align it with the love in everyone else around you, oh my God, we will have a utopia here faster than you can say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Okay, I think that was pretty long winded enough. Much love and light, and until the next time, take care.